Thanks for tuning in. In this video I'm going to be talking about life off-grid with these bad boys. These are nickel iron storage batteries that we have for our solar system, and yeah, I'm just going to share some of my experience with them so far, what I like, what I don't like, and hopefully share something that's going to be useful and helpful for anyone watching this video that might be interested in buying them. Yeah, so in short, they are 25-year, they have a 25-year life expectancy, 25-year plus. And the cool thing about them, or what really sold them to me, was the fact that you can discharge them very low without damaging them, which, for if you know anything about storage batteries, and particularly lead acid ones, that's a big no-no. And having lived with lead acid before, I just liked the sound of relaxing more about the batteries running down. So they were more expensive. They were about £2,100, mais ou menos. They're a 400 amp hour system. Yeah, this is a 12 volt. This is a 12 volt system. So we've got, you know, there's just me and my wife. We have a fairly small solar setup that does for us. We don't use a lot, and we're careful with what we use. I don't know if you can tell, but these aren't actually connected at the moment because, unfortunately, we had one of the cells drop out on us. After 3 years, yeah, one cell basically went to zero volts, and the manufacturers advised us to change the electrolyte, which I thought was going to be super simple, and in fact it's turning out a nightmare to get the chemicals for it. Lithium hydroxide monohydrate, potassium hydroxide, and distilled water is what you need to make it up, and I really thought it was going to be quite easy process, but little did I know that these chemicals are not easy to buy as a private individual. If you're a business or you have the correct certification, I think it's pretty easy to get them, but for me so far I haven't managed to get the chemicals. So yeah, that's one thing about this video. If anyone knows of a way to buy these kind of chemicals, or has any help, tips or pointers, that would be really helpful. I'm in Portugal. I think if I was in the UK it would probably be easier. I've even seen some of these chemicals advertised on eBay. So yeah, so that's kind of where I'm at with it. But for some time we did have them running just with 9 cells, because the nickel ions charge to a higher voltage than the equivalent lead acid. So by taking one cell out, these are all in series, by taking one cell out I was still within the voltage range of the inverter, and they were running well. Yeah, one mistake that did happen, which was probably my fault on this one, was that the charge controller the settings didn't save. So when I adjusted the charge controller to compensate for only having 9 cells, because obviously the voltage of the bank reduced and I had to adjust the charge controller, it didn't save the settings. I've had this problem before with this charge controller. It doesn't always save. You have to sometimes go back in and make sure that it's saved what you wanted. On this occasion it didn't, and I went away to work, and the system basically was overcharging the battery, so it was boiling the electrolyte too much, which in itself isn't a big problem, but the electrolyte dropped quite low, like down to around this kind of level, which for storage batteries is a big problem. And I to be fair, I thought that was going to be it. I thought, okay, now I'm going to have to change the electrolyte on all of them. But amazingly, I topped them up and they ran for like another year. But now the performance really did drop off, and that's probably down to that. So that's where we are at with them. Before we had this one cell drop out, I really did look after them, check them once a week, the levels on the electrolyte, always top that up when needed, and they were always charged correctly within the parameters. I didn't cycle them that heavily, although you can discharge them, like I say, down to 1 volt per cell without doing them any damage, and actually the instructions recommend that you do that from time to time. Why this cell dropped out, still don't really know. Maybe we were just unlucky. Some friends of ours also have banks of these and they haven't had any issues. And yeah, that's where I'm at. So the company I bought them from, Bimble Solar in the UK, haven't been that helpful. They don't actually sell these now. So they haven't really been able to help me source these chemicals. And the manufacturers in the Ukraine, they can't send me the chemicals to make the electrolyte, so I'm actually employing someone here in Portugal to just try and source these chemicals for me so we can see if we can get them up and running. So yeah, hope this video was helpful. If it was helpful, please give a like, and also subscribe if you're interested in off-grid living. And yeah, if you have any questions or comments or feedback, then yeah, please leave that in the comment section. It's really helpful. I did a video on our experience with a wind turbine. I'll put a link to that video up in the up here somewhere, and it was really helpful, the feedback and comments that people had with that. So if you do have any, yeah, please share. Alrighty, see you in the next one.